Okay, it's June 14th, isn't it, Stelly Bear? All right. Well, the tomatoes have gotten a lot bigger, so I'm almost forgetting what these are, but nope, that's the Gold Nugget cherry tomato, I believe. And then that's the early girl tomato. They're almost up to their 4th rungs, and 2 weeks ago they were up to their 2nd rungs. The little flowers are doing really well. Those are the pansies that I planted from seed. Some marigolds, more pansies, marigolds, other annuals. Come on, Steph. Cucumbers are starting to come up really nice. They'll go up that trellis. More cucumbers up this one, and then there were some habaneros. They weren't doing very well, so I pulled them out, moved them around to different spots just to see if they'd take elsewhere. I think they probably won't, but whatever. So I planted some little pickling cucumbers, the small ones, right here to see what happens. You have that rosemary. Come on, Soul Bear. Peppers, 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 peppers. Tomatoes. Roma. That's the baby boomer cherry. Obviously marigolds. Eggplants. 3 different kinds, and I did prune those back a bit because there was some unhealthy growth, and now they're really popping since I took that unhealthy yellow growth off, and they're flowering, so kind of glad I did that. That tomato plant is the yellow one that's like a heart shape with the red inside. And fun fact, there's some tomato plants that have seeded. There was about 7 others that I pulled, but I'm just gonna leave this one because I think it's a German lunchbox, and it's from all the seeds dropping last year. And there's even another one. I don't know if you can see it. I missed that one when I was weeding. Another tomato plant. I'm sure there'll be others. Nope, that's not a tomato plant. That's just a weed, which I'll have to get later. But, yep, everything's looking really nice. Come on, beast. But yeah, getting really tall. Those are about, I would say, almost a yard tall. And then we're trying to build this up into like a living wall, flowering living wall. So that is the very tiny white lilac bush that I planted, which was a twig before, and now it's really leafing out. That one is another white lilac bush. It was a little bit older. I got it from the garden center, and it's doubled, maybe tripled in size, to be honest with you. Those are the Josie lilac bushes. They're dwarf. And then there, and you can see they're putting on new growth. So those should flower again at some point. And then here's the exciting thing. My hibiscus are coming up. So they're bare roots. So you can see in the center, those are what they looked like actually before, but now the bare roots are no longer bare. Another one. And another. So the one that's in the middle here that kind of has more purplish leaves is a darker pink. And then those 2 there are a lighter pink. So we'll go in front. Check everything out. And this is another hibiscus, and it's just a lot older and it's coming back. So Stella's in there, but yeah, all the leaves are coming back. It's just in a shadier area, so it'll take a while. And lots of sunflowers coming up from all the darn bird seeds, because we feed all the birds. Toppins a bag, just like Mary Poppins. All right. Here's one of the little planters. These are really filling out quite a bit. There are some dahlias in the middle, and then it's snapdragons. Stella's gonna pea, which I won't get on camera. Marigolds. I believe this is verbena, but it really popped. Before it was so sparse. If you go back and look at prior videos that I have here from even a couple weeks ago, it's kind of insane how much that popped. The apple trees technically never flowered, and I believe that's probably because of all the deer damage we had last year. But they're healthy, so maybe next year, right? This is looking really good. So in the back, it's all tall snapdragons, and they're starting to really flower. So those are flowering. These are just some annuals, little dwarf-sized annuals, but the tall snapdragons are starting to get flower heads. So I'm really excited to see what they all look like. It's all different colors. I planted those downstairs, like my little babies from seed. And then another planter. So, yeah. This one doesn't get quite as much sun, so I don't think it's quite as filled out, but still beautiful. I think the dahlia is a little happier in this one because there's less sun, so this one gets to take more of the centerpiece, and then those are just the supporting cast members. We'll take a look at the cherry bush. I have to get a new deer deterrent to put around it till it gets bigger, but it's a lot bigger. It was just a twig. I mean, it's pretty tall. It's about, it's above a foot. And it was 6 inches tall when I got it. So, and it was like a stick with no foliage. Maybe 3 leaves. We trimmed up well, I didn't. My parents did. Trimmed up the arborvitaes that were over here by the windows so that we actually get some form of sunlight in these north-facing windows, because these are blocking out everything. And Stella be good. Here's the raised beds in the back. So there's obviously marigolds. I did have, see, the deer just keep going in here, and it must be a rabbit that I'm just gonna get rid of right now. But I was planting basil in here, and there's a mother deer, a doe, and 2 fawns that keep coming in here and eating my basil if they can sense it. So like, there was a bunch of basil right here. They just came in and topped it all off. So the only basil they aren't eating is like the ones that are protected by marigolds and tomato plants. So like there. But there's an awful lot of Italian oregano. Like, this thing is huge if anybody wants oregano. And this is Greek oregano coming back. I've just been harvesting it a lot. And then more rosemary, English thyme, but these are all Romas. And then those are 2 tomato plants over there with some marigolds. Marigolds seem to really like that planter. They're bushing. And then there's zucchini, and then there's another little zucchini coming up over there. Sorry for the chaotic filming, but there's another plant back there if you can see it, and that's the bigger one. That one was, I believe, 2 leaves the last time I took a video. So, come on, Stinks. You're getting all muddy. Potato alley. Potatoes. So, yeah, these are doing really, really well. They're enjoying the new heat wave that we have. Just watered. 11 bags. Hopefully we get a good harvest. The roses are coming up quite nicely. So those ones are starting to bloom. That one's going to be a yellow one. And you can see buds on it. That's a red. So we finally figured out the color. For some reason I thought it was pink. It is not. It's red. And then that is an apricot with a kind of a lipstick kiss almost. Not quite red, just a little bit darker, or a little bit lighter than red, so like a burnt orange. And that's the one that I planted for my Aunt Meg, and her 2 little figurines that she painted are there. And then we have all these little popcorn roses. So this one's going to be a white one. This one's an apricot, just like my Aunt Meg's bush. And you can see them starting to bloom. And then that's the one I bought this year. Come on, honey. That's the little strawberry plant that actually made it from last year, because I had a whole bunch of strawberries in here and the deer ate them, but that one came back, so that's good. All right. Oh, I never show this, but I should. So this was my playhouse for me and my sister when we were little, and a couple of years ago I was like, I had all this yarrow that I had started from seed, And I was like, well, we should just plant it right in that little dead zone area. And we did, and it comes back every year. And what it does is it's a really hardy perennial. If anybody wants some, let me know. I can split some for you. I have it all over the yard. But they create these really gorgeous, like giant flower heads, all different colors, pink, purple, blue, white. They're beautiful. And then they look like little ferns. There's a chipmunk, as you can see. Yep, it's a chippy. So we'll go and check the rest out. All right, so we have a lot of flowers, all the geraniums and other things, and then the rescue lilac bush is still doing really well. The green stalk, I ended up taking all the lettuce out because now it's just at the point where it's too warm for lettuce to properly grow, and it's been bolting. So we are going to be eating a lot of salads for about the next week to get through that. It was a big harvest, but the strawberries are popping. I planted some basil in one of the pockets that there was a giant head of lettuce in. And there's peppers. The bottom 3 tiers are strawberries. And then this has dill coming up. You can kind of see the dill coming up. And there's mint, patio tomatoes, all sorts of stuff. This is spearmint. So that, flowers. My pansies from the basement, and they're still doing really well. I'm surprised that they haven't fried out. They're really enjoying this heat, and I feel like normally pansies don't, so good sign. Strawberries finally not getting eaten by the pests. My apple tree from seed is getting a little bit taller every day. Who knows what it will become? If it dies, it dies, but it was a fun experiment nonetheless. And then also took the lettuce out of this guy, and then all those empty pockets are basically beans and basil. I did that today when I went through everything. So, yeah. A lot of beans, like these are beans. Basil, beans, it's all around. And then this is going to be watermelons because I actually have a sprout, and I know there's another one coming up. So, but yeah, more herbs. Rosemary and thyme, which I use a lot in cooking. And then all our geraniums, dahlias, petunias. And this is another ICU plant. I won't draw your attention to the lemon and orange tree, which are now dead and will be finding their graveyard soon. I just haven't had the heart to dump it out, and also I've been quite lazy, so just busy doing the other stuff. But yeah, it's looking really nice. My dad put a flag in the backyard where the laundry line goes to, so if we do want to hang laundry, we're gonna have to take that flag down. But yeah, it looks really nice back here. All right, everybody, hope you're having a wonderful June Saturday, and love y'all. Bye.